Okay, this second part of humanistic, so this will all be AO3 for you. With regards to note taking and where you are, you probably want 3 to 4 strong paragraphs, understand how you might write each one of those, get the key terms down for it. Okay. Okay, analysing and evaluating. Okay, the first one is non-reductionist. A lot of the negatives of all of the other approaches is they are reductionist, and just a quick explanation if you don't know what we mean by that is that they are trying to reduce their behaviours, trying to reduce human behaviour down to like 1 or 2 factors. So it might be in the biological that they're reducing it down to genes and a hormone. In behavioural they're ignoring everything else and they're reducing it down to just simple learning, positive and negative reinforcement. Okay, so they are, if you think about all of the different things that could have an effect on you, if something's reductionist, it's reducing that down and focusing in on one small part and rejecting all the others. So humanists reject any attempt to break up behaviour and experience into smaller components. For example, Freud explained the whole of personality in terms of id, ego and superego. So it's reductionist because it's explaining it through 3 small bits. And I've already explained the behavioural and the biological. In contrast, humanists believe in holism, okay, seeing people as the whole, which is the idea that experience can be understood by understanding the whole person. So they're not trying to reduce, they're not saying this bit's more important than that bit, or let's ignore this, this and this because it's only this that's important. This approach may have more validity than its alternatives by considering meaningful human behaviour in real life contexts. So hopefully that makes sense. So it's non-reductionist, therefore it can be seen as more valid. Okay, it has limited application, the humanistic approach. Rogers therapy was developed for counselling techniques, okay, and we spoke briefly about that. Maslow's hierarchy of needs is used majorly in motivation terms for explaining how in businesses and at home and maybe even within sport how people are motivated, but it remains that the approach has limited impact due to lack of evidence. Again, it's a description-based approach on abstract concepts. What we mean by an abstract concept is, at least with the biological application approach even, they can say, look, here is this gene, here is me giving serotonin to this monkey, and therefore this happens. That isn't an abstract concept. You can see it. It's tangible. You can see it on a scan. Maybe you can see it in a test tube. Whereas this idea of our motivations and seeing the whole, as valid as it may be, is very hard to apply because of its abstract concepts. Okay, positive. This approach has been praised for bringing the person back into psychology. Freud saw humans as slaves to their past, to their childhood. Biologists would see that it's only to do with their genes and hormones and all of that. Okay, and this is seeing it actually as the person. We're actually looking at the person and no longer just as some of their past. Humanistic psychology gives us a refreshing and optimistic alternative to other approaches such as the psychodynamic approach. It sees all people as basically good and can achieve their full potential and have control on their own lives. Humanistic psychology does contain a lot of vague ideas that are abstract, and I've kind of already touched on that, and difficult to test, like self-actualization and congruence. Rogers did try to test his research by developing the Q-sort. This would measure someone's progress during therapy. However, it is very short and empirical evidence, which means support, basically, to support his claims. So, basically your paragraph here is that they're untestable. A bit like some of the psychodynamic areas are untestable. Where is the id? Where is the ego? Can't find those. Right, where is self-actualization live? How can you prove that someone's congruent or non-congruent? So they're very hard, untestable statements. Therefore, we can't prove it or disprove it either way. Cultural bias, individual freedom, autonomy and personal growth are ideas that humanistic psychology believes in, but they are more associated but they are more associated with individualistic cultures. Okay, and this is like the idea, if you don't know, you might just need to go and search what collectivist culture is and what an individualistic culture is, and then that will make more sense as to why the humanistic should be more associated with a collectivist, but it is actually with the individualistic. In collectivist cultures such as India, which emphasize the need of a group, these ideas are hard to identify with. Therefore, it's possible this approach does not travel well and is a product within the cultural context of which it was developed. So it has cultural bias. All right. Hopefully that makes sense. There we go.